Hi everyone, my name is Xiao Yidang and I'm a grad career intern at the Center for Career Development. I'm in the Applied Human Development program with a concentration in positive youth development. Here I'm welcoming Anne Marie Jaworski to talk about her career after graduation. It's really nice to meeting you today. And could you please introduce yourself? You can talk about your name, your graduating year, your major, the college that you graduated from, and then also um, your current occupation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I feel very honored. Yeah, so I graduated from BU. I was at BU for 6 years. So I played on the soccer team for 6 years, everything like that. Did my undergraduate degree in psychology. I graduated the spring of 2020 for my undergrad. And then I got my master's degree in the Applied Human Development program that BU offers. And I had my specialization in sports coaching. And I graduated with that degree the spring of 2022. So pretty recent. Everything like that. Loved my time at BU. I'm very proud to be an alum, everything like that. And currently, I am the head women's soccer coach at Simmons University, which is just right down the street of BU. So I know the neighborhood, everything like that. And I consider myself very lucky and fortunate to be where I'm at. So yeah,
Can you talk a little bit more about how did you get this job?
absolutely. Coaching, I always kind of knew I wanted to go into the sport. I didn't want to leave soccer. It's a big passion of mine, everything like that. And I also just believe coaching specifically at the collegiate level. Um, it's at a very pivotal period of development for young adults, everything like that. And it's much more than just having a practice plan in hand and rolling a soccer ball out. I'm more so I'm stepping into a coaching role as well as a mentorship role, which I find it's a big passion of mine, everything like that. And so to kind of circle back, my dad, he is a head coach of Division 3 men's soccer. So I kind of got to grow up in that environment, seeing him do his thing, and I really just fell in love with the sport more so. And then while I was playing at BU, I suffered a couple injuries, which was unfortunate. But you find your silver lining when you're kind of going through things like that. And I got to see the other side of the game when I wasn't playing, everything like that. And I guess I just really found my knack for assessing the game, analyzing everything like that. But what I really enjoy most is pulling greatness and finding motivation within each individual, everything like that. So yeah, I kind of always knew I wanted to go into coaching, everything like that after I graduated, which was awesome. Yeah. And then I would say specifically to Simmons, how I got this coaching job, and it is pretty it's unique that I got a head coaching job so soon after graduating. But sometimes the stars just align that way, and the position opened up. I had a three-step interview process, which was very fun, and it allowed me to grow in a lot of ways. I was nervous at times, but it put me out of my comfort zone a little bit, which was awesome. And I don't know, I knew I wanted to stay in Boston. Simmons, that position opened up and I interviewed for it, and um I guess I did something right. So I ended up exactly where I am. And I have a feeling I'm gonna be here for a while as well. So it's a great community. I love it, and wouldn't change anything in the world about it. So yeah.
What do you do on a daily basis?
So what's good about coaching is it's a flexible position. So some we don't have practice every day, specifically in the spring. So right now I'm with the team for about a month and then they go home for summer, things like that. But I'll say I guess the main thing I should touch upon is with coaching, it's a lot of forward thinking. So planning practices for the following day, or thinking about, all right, what are we going to do for preseason when August comes up here around the corner, and it comes by quick. So it's a lot of preparation and everything like that. So lots of forward thinking. So I would say, and then also touching upon recruiting as well. So bringing in prospective student athletes, meeting them for following years to come. Um, so yeah, it's trying to stay 2 steps ahead at all times, which is very doable. You just can't procrastinate, and it's a skill that it was I learned being a student athlete at BU, both on the academic side of things as well as the athletic. If you do not prepare, you're sort of kind of preparing to fail a little bit. So it's just keeping your head above water at all times. So yeah, daily basis, I'll just kind of talk about in season. It's waking up, coming in the office. We typically have a department meeting, everything like that. Good camaraderie within our athletics department, and then planning practice, going out to the field, getting some good work in, good sweat in with the team. And then also, I think what's important for coaches to touch upon, and speaking upon my experience, is also carving out personal time as well. So making sure I'm taking care of myself, because if I'm feeling good and confident, it reflects upon the team. So making sure I'm taking care of myself as well. So yeah.
How has your student athlete experience impacted your career?
I think the word I would use is those transferable skills. And it's things like we were talking about: time management, leadership, everything like that, having a little bit of autonomy and responsibility. It is a big jump. So going from a student athlete to a coaching role, it's not easy whatsoever. If coaching was easy, I think everybody would be doing it. But it's just like I said, it's kind of having that motivation, like what's your motivating factor. So mine is when I go to practice and I see 20 of my student athletes standing in front of me, and just kind of the look in their eyes that they're dependent upon so much, and they look to me for a lot of things, so I don't want to let them down. Things like that. So, and it's the same thing as like when I was a student athlete, and kind of like when I stepped into a leadership role at BU and being a captain, everything like that. It's going the extra mile, doing the extra work to make sure we're prepared at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, just teaching me that treating everybody with respect, communicating what you need from others, and and then asking the same of my team or my teammates, things like that, what they need from me. It's a lot of communication, collaboration, connection, everything like that. So yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the transitions from being a student athlete to a coach, and then what are the unique challenges that you face?
I would say the toughest thing was not being the one to put on my cleats, and kind of standing on the sideline, and um giving ownership to the team. So, yes, being a coach, I'm gonna say, okay, this is what we're doing in training today. This is what we're gonna do, watching film, everything like that. But at the end of the day, um, it's a player's game. So letting my student athletes take ownership of their team, and kind of navigating what they want their culture to look like, things like that. That's how it's gonna work best. So yes, stepping into that role when I need to, but also letting the team be who they are, and kind of allowing them to have their own identity within one another. So yeah, when it's an intense game, yes, I'm in it. I'm excited on the sideline, things like that. But I also know that this is way more about them than it is about me. Everything like that. I'm there to kind of help guide and things, and give my experience and everything I was exposed to as a student athlete, and setting them up for success within their 4-year experience. So yeah, I guess the biggest challenge would kind of be that I'm doing something different. It's the bus rides are a little different when I'm doing the practice plans, things like that. And but it's so rewarding. It's so much fun. I really do love it. So yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. And how was the transition from school to working full time?
Absolutely.
Do you think BB prepared you for the transition? And if not, how would you recommend preparing for the transition?
Absolutely, I would say, BU helped me prepare for that. Specifically within my master's program, the applied human development. side of things is when we would practice writing training plans, everything like that, the curriculum we were going to go through that day. If I didn't have that prior exposure, I would not be as prepared as or well equipped as I am today. I mean, I did it this morning. We had our practice at 6 a.m., things like that. So you have to be prepped the night before because you're waking up at 4 a.m. So we don't have time to kind of do those things. But having the structure and the bones of being taught that with Dr. Shane Gra and everything like that that was really, really important for me. And it's a side of coaching that I had never really given much thought to prior to getting this job as well, because I'd never had to do it before. Um, and then, like I said, BU, they it's a very rigorous school as well. It's very prestigious. I mean, they challenge you academically, which is it's so important because that's what you're going to find in the real world. And knowing that, okay, I need to have this done, so because I need to have such and such done, this done, this done, this done, and having my bookmarks all ready to go, so everything kind of seamlessly flows, everything like that. So maybe I'm not writing essays anymore or doing APA format, but I'm getting details for a banquet ready and calling a restaurant, making sure everybody has their meal orders in, everything like that. So it's checking off that to-do list that I learned and kind of developed that habit when I was a student. And now that I'm in a full-time position, I already have that ready to go. I know I have to get this done, this done, this done in order to be successful. So BU definitely prepared me for a full-time working position for sure.
How has your leadership experience affected your transition? Can you talk more
Abs-
about that?
Absolutely. I had 2 extra years at BU, which was from my injuries, everything with like that, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I feel like who wants to leave college that early? And I got 2 extra years, everything like that. So and then I also got the opportunity to be in a leadership role for an extended period of time, which was awesome. It gave me a lot of my leadership skills that I apply in my position today. And I would say it was very advantageous and still is in my work now. So being a younger coach, because I'm only 25, things like that. What's awesome and the advice I would give to a lot of recent graduates is the advantages, and specifically if they're going to go into sport, the advantages of being a younger coach in that athletics environment is because I am able to relate to my young female athletes, everything like that. And if somebody coaches on the men's side, everything like that, same thing for the men's athletics, everything like that is I know how your legs can feel heavy after a game, everything like that. I know kind of what it's like to when the team is we had a bad loss or something like that and the team's morale is a little bit lower than what it should be. What's required of the team to kind of like within one another to pull out, hey, we can still do this, we're still in it, there's a lot of positive to it, that kind of thing, and maintaining cohesion, because I am a recent graduate and I just did it. So that has been a huge advantage. And so a lot of the skills I learned from being a team captain is putting others before myself and the needs of the team. What do we really need right now? And then I think what was most important and the biggest lesson I learned being a team captain is the value of being vulnerable. I think especially now and specific to sport, I don't think that's talked about enough. Talking about, hey, I kind of struggle with this or this, I really do well when I have this kind of support and just kind of communicating those needs and or saying how you feel in a specific moment because everybody is feeling the same way. Nobody's alone in that kind of in that way of thinking. And I think it needs to become more apparent on the sports side of things. And so I've kind of brought that to my coaching philosophy and my style of coaching, everything like that. And it's been really, really useful. And I think it's helped our team cohesion and everything like that. And the gap between student athlete and coaches is not as big because I can talk to them and be like, hey, honestly, how are you feeling right now? What do you need? And they're confident in telling me what they actually feel, which is so important. We want to close that kind of gap a little bit. So to make sure they're having the best possible for your experience that they can. That's the whole point.
Do you think networking with others in the field helps you to be where you are right now? And if yes, how did you begin networking and expanding your network? And what resources did you use to support that? If not, what advice do you have for students and alumni planning on working in sports coaching?
Networking, whatever position you're going in, it's huge. You hear a lot, it's all about who you know. That's the kind of saying that I was always told, everything like that. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And then, like I said, it's like the same with the team environment. There's so much to be said for connecting with other human beings and collaborating. I mean, you can have so many great ideas, but they're going to be different than other people. So kind of um communicating in that way and learning from other people, that's going to be a huge. Just that open mindset, everything like that, the growth mindset. um Now going back to kind of networking, that's really kind of how I found my position at Simmons, everything like that. Is I had a great mentor, and she was my head coach at BU at the time. She recently retired. Was Nancy Feldman, and I learned so much from her. And it wasn't just drills and things like that. It was a lot about watching her and how successful she was at being our head coach, and how much respect I had for her and my teammates had for her and everything like that, and just how she carried herself on a day-to-day basis. So she kind of taught me the ropes in that way, and helped me prepare for my interview process as well. And the coaching world, it is small. A lot of people know others and know, like, she was a very big name, everything like that. So that worked in my favor. Um, but yeah, it's a close community. So the more people you can meet and put your name out there, and like I said, gaining more ideas from other people is only going to help you in the long run. And then on top of that, my dad was a huge networking, because he's also involved in coaching as well. So I would say if somebody is interested in um, going into coaching, whatever sport it may be, swimming, tennis, soccer, whatever it is, I would say find somebody who you can really look to model and everything like that. It's the same thing as when you're training. You look at one of the better players, you see how he or she is kind of going through the drill and trying to emulate what they're doing exactly.
Mhm.
And it's the same way, and just building those relationships is very, very important when kind of breaking into this career.
What would you say is the best steps for young alumni to take right after they graduate?
I would say, number one, like we said, it would have to be networking. So finding that kind of that avenue. And then number two, I would say really identifying what you love to do. Um, whatever occupation that is, if it's sports information, anything like that. Um I knew really from the get-go that I wanted to be in an environment where I was with young women who needed a role model, and I could kind of serve in that role. Because now when I come to work and I'm writing practice plans, and even though I'm getting up early or I have late nights, it doesn't seem like work to me. I really enjoy what I'm doing. And then as a result, my team can kind of see that I'm having that kind of energy and fun, and it's contagious. And so we kind of feed off each other. When I see them, I'm genuinely excited to be there. And then same thing when they show up to practice, it's a portion of their day that they get to be with coach and things like that. And they get to be with one another, more importantly, their teammates. And we just have a lot of fun. So I would say, as a recent graduate, really um, expand your feelers. Go do different things, pick up different jobs, and really identify what you love to do. Because at the end of the day, if that's the kind of job you're going to go into, it's so fulfilling and it's rewarding. When I go to training and I see the smiles on my student athletes' faces, I can't imagine doing anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, that is really important. Um, and what are the most helpful resources on campus that students may not know or aware of?
Yeah. I would say as you get older, I know like when you're a freshman, everything like that, or even if you're a first year in a graduate program, class sizes can be pretty large, especially for like the research classes or like a Psych 101 kind of course. So as you get older and you start to enroll in more niche courses, everything like that, where your class size can vary between 7 students to 10 students. Those professors are going to be um, key in your development, everything like that. So I would say that would be the best resource is developing a relationship with your professors and really taking the time either a to go to office hours, things like that, or setting up a time to go get coffee with a professor and having a genuine conversation, a about what you're interested in doing, about materials you're learning in class, or what that professor has done. I mean, I think people really enjoy talking about their story, and I love listening to other people's stories. So, and I think there's a lot to grasp from that. So, I would say your best resources are the professor standing in front of you. So, definitely make an effort to build relationships in that kind of environment, I would say.
Are there any other pieces of advice that you would like to share with young alumni or just students in general?
And I thought about this a little bit. I was like, okay, what would I tell myself? Everything like that. And I kind of tied it to my job right now. I'm reading a book, and it's titled The Tough Stuff. And it's a lot about coaching, everything like that, and just the challenges that come with being a head coach, everything like that is. And it's the same thing as being a student. There's so much forward thinking. Like when I was a grad student, I was thinking like, okay, so where am I going to live? Like things like that, finding an apartment. What job do I want to have right after I graduate? Budgeting, all that real life kind of stuff. So it's a lot of planning and I need to do this. So it's a lot of forward thinking. So the best advice I would have, and the same advice I would give to other coaches when they're planning their preseasons or when you just finished one game and now you're already looking to the next one, is find time to enjoy what's in front of you. Just kind of breathing and being like, you know what? I'm a young adult, everything like that. Like I like take advantage what's right in front of you. Go get coffee at a coffee shop that you haven't been to, or the people that are surrounding you. Um, really enjoy the moments that are happening in the here and the now. Because yes, it's very, very easy to get caught up in the future planning, everything like that. Um, but you don't want to spend all that time thinking about the future and not kind of processing or taking advantage of all that's in front of you at the moment. So and I just think it gives you a better clarity of mind. There's less stress when it takes it that way, and it's just better for our overall health. So I would just that would be the advice I would give to all college students at any year that they're studying grad or undergrad level, and then also for individuals that are just entering into the coaching atmosphere as well. So just kind of being in the present moment, which we hear a lot, but it's very important. So yeah, that would be my word of advice.
Thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and this is the end of the interview. And thank you again for being here and share all your experience and your advice to all students and young alums. And yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again. And I love going back to my ties at BU, everything like that, because it really was 6 years of my life that really shaped who I am today and everything and kind of put me where I'm at right now. So yeah, no, there's a lot to look forward to for a lot of BU students, everything like that. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.